Hi there, welcome back at Wadokai Online. I hope you don't mind I'm sweating a little bit or maybe out of breath because I just finished my training. But actually before I started training I had to put out some lights and the stuff. It takes some time to prepare this to shoot a video. And I just got an idea at the end of my own practice, so I thought why not shoot a video. So I put everything, I turned on the lights and I put back on the camera. What I would like to explain to you a little bit about is some function of the hip joint and actually the hip socket, especially in this video. And I realized this more when I went to Japan in 2012. I visited the sumo dojo, and one of the wrestlers, he was ordered to practice Shko. And obviously we have Shko Dutch, which is therefore used, some people refer to it as the sumo stance. But actually when they do, maybe you have seen it on videos, they are much lower, like this. I would like to share a method that I extracted from that. It's basically a combination between what I saw in Japan in the sumo dojo and something I learned from Nukina Sensei. When you stand, obviously you're going to use your toes, and your toes that will grip the ground for stability, which means if you lift your toes, you cannot use them for stability. And this means that you have to rely more on a stable seichusen. So I'm going to use this concept as well as using the hip socket. So you cannot see the lines and I will be a little bit off center, but if for my height it would be, if the ball of the foot would be on a line, which is like 1 meter because I'm using the mat, that would be for me the proper distance to go down. So it will be something like this. Obviously you have to do it feeling wise. So I'm going to lift my toes and make sure that my line is straight in my body. And the difficulty with this is that you have to push out because I'm not using my arms. Yeah, if you relax too much, you're going to collapse. So you have to open your legs, but at the same time you have to relax this part. And that's, it's like fine tuning. It's very difficult because if you relax too much, they collapse. But if you open, then it starts to tense up again. So this requires a lot of practice. But this is something I use in my warm-up as well. And then I have, so you can use this one, and I usually do it 2 times 8 seconds for the warm-up, not too much. But if you want to practice it for yourself or watch television like this, then obviously I recommend it that you do it. And I want to connect it to one technique so that you understand a little bit more on how to do this. For example, we use a Gyakuzuki Tsukomi. And when you have a Gyakuzuki Tsukomi, actually you're going to use this technique for your movement. Because now I'm using this part of the hip socket actually in the same manner as this. The direction is a little bit different, but the concept is the same. So if I don't use the hip socket, it will look like this, and if I use the hip socket, it looks like that. I'll show it to you from the side, maybe that will give you a different perspective. I didn't check that before I am going to shoot this video though, so maybe you won't see anything. But from this position, well, this is including obviously because I'm taking it automatically. Let's see, if I don't use it, it looks like this, and if I do use it, it looks like that. And when you do it this way, you get a better structural alignment. In other words, it's easier to use your whole body. Or in fact, if you don't use it, you are not able to use your whole body. In other words, you have to use the hip socket. And in order to develop that, I'll show you one more time. Lift your toes to rely on the seichusen more. Drop your hip. Try to relax as much as possible. And try to open your legs as you drop into it. Okay, so make sure you try to fine tune this if you're going to practice. And not push your legs outside with your arms. And try to relax as much as possible while maintaining the proper stance. Okay, thanks again for watching and stay tuned for our next video.